Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I have something special for you. This is part of my pre-production prototype unreleased sample collection. This is a Pierce Lance Pumper truck manufactured by the Ertl company, and I believe the original trucks line came out, or for these pumper trucks, came out in about 92 and 93 from the research that I have found. There was a couple of Facebook groups that actually had some information of these trucks, and there was a catalog that showed all three of the original trucks: the pumper, a tanker, and a ladder truck. Interesting enough, the ladder had a little extra bit to it that was never seen on a production model. But anyway, this one is a special one because, as far as I know, and being posted on those Facebook groups, no one else has seen this particular truck before. What I mean is the actual paint design or this type of designing of the truck. Um, there's a red version of the truck that was sold in a blister for their fire and rescue that had Buffalo Fire Department written on the side. There was another one, I think it said Engine Company 1, that had a white roof section. The upper part of the roof was white. Both had solid, or they had translucent red lights on it, but they did not have the silver paint on it. Or and they had either a gray or a tan uh, hose bed or hoses in the bed of the truck, but none of them were black. Um, and I think the gray one had, or I think the tan one, the gray one did have the painted tips on them, but the black hoses was never released to the public, nor as this having this gold design on the back of the truck. This design right here. I looked around, I couldn't find any example of this truck that had it. If anyone recognizes it from an older fire department, so these were produced from the 90s into the 2000s, so maybe in that realm. Anyone recognizes that design, please let me know. Another interesting tidbit on this truck is if you look at the base, right here, if you look up these things on eBay, Pierce pumper truck, Pierce or Ertl Pierce fire trucks, on the bottom, if you see a couple pictures, it'll have the Pierce logo and the name of the truck. That has been removed off this particular version of the truck. If I can actually get to focus, give me a second, please. All right. Okay, things that want to focus. Um, but it would have a Pierce logo, the name of the truck on the bottom, and also the that code on the bottom, stamp printed, is not what was offered on these trucks. Second here, on the original release trucks, especially that have the Oresville, Iowa, USA stamp on it, they would be a heat pressed stamp on somewhere in this part of the area where the drive shaft or rear transmission would be. There would be some kind of stamp, or even right here by the exhaust. It's not featured on this truck. Later releases did have a printed stamp printed, but it's a different code. This is a 6-digit code. The other ones I think were 9-digit code. So that code is interesting. Also, the tires, which makes me believe this was supposed to be maybe in the 2000s, or late 90s, like really late 90s, early 2000s. Is these tires are off of the or not delivery truck line that used the Ford F650, 750 chassis and front ends, are trucks, cab trucks. Because these ones, if you, like I said, I still don't know how to implement a photo while recording with this camera. Um, I just do it straight shot. But there's supposed to be a wider tire on the front and rear. And even the newer trucks that are still being released, even from as far as 2020, is the back tire is almost is a solid, basically piece of rubber. That has a little line in it that distinguishes it as a dually tire. But these tires did not appear on any of the production of the trucks. Now the light bars, I'll get back to this. This light bar was actually only used on one particular truck. It was for the pumper, but it was in the American Muscle body shop line, which was Ertl's little mini model kits for 1/64 scale vehicles. They had three of these trucks, or the three main trucks: the tank, the pumper, the tanker, and a ladder, and a Chevy uh, van. But the light bar with the paint, silver paint on the front or in the middle, was only featured on the uh, high vis yellow slash green truck. So this light bar was not akin to any of the single releases. All single releases didn't have it, and even some of the other trucks didn't have that light bar or that particular silver paint. But there were trucks that had painted lights. So it does make an interesting case of where this truck origins come from. Like I said, if anyone recognizes the that gold paint design, because there some department may have been in process of talking with Ertl at the time, or the employee that had purchased it or had given this to the seller off eBay, which should mention also that the eBay seller listed it as being purchased from an Ertl employee. They didn't say ex-employee or current employee, but it was an employee from Ertl and had this particular truck, and they sold it or gave it to the person that didn't list it on eBay. And I trust this eBay seller because I have purchased another pre-production sample from this guy, so I do trust that that at least that part of the story that they got this from an actual employee. Now, just a quick note as far as scale wise, these were the best of the fire trucks outside of, say, Code 3 diecast that made 1/64 scale, actual true 1/64 scale trucks. As we know, Matchbox, Hot Wheels, their 1/64s are itty bitty. Now, for a size comparison, if you put it up against, say, this Revell Chevy Impala SS, that actually, or if it actually gets back to the thing, let me stop it when it does. Sorry. That is almost to scale. This is pretty much how this truck would look compared to a vehicle, especially a Chevy Caprice um, or Chevy Impala. Those Revell versions, these were about 1/64th as you can get. So you can see the scale is there. It's unfortunate that we can't really get that with Hot Wheels, except if it was a weird drag racing fire truck or something, or Matchbox. Their real rig size was still not into exact scale, but this would be to scale or best at scale to it. And like I said, the only thing I matched it with really, as from I can see, would be the old Code 3. So that is it for this video. Like I said, if anybody that knows fire apparatuses, or even if you're worked at Ertl or knew someone that worked at Ertl that could shed some light on this truck, that'd be much appreciated. If not, it is an interesting conversation piece in my collection of, as always. So thank you everybody for watching. Have a good day. Have a safe. If you're watching this on a weekend, have a good safe weekend. Um, and I will probably be back shortly. Hopefully, not take another long sabbatical. So thank you everybody. Have a good day.